Hi everyone and welcome to episode 59 of United City Randomiser. Just as a heads up on the audio for today's video, if you hear some extra noise, it's because I've got to have a window open because I've got some workmen in doing some work in the back garden and they need a power supply. So if you hear them or other noises, that's the reason for it. Apologies if it does happen, but I felt it was worthwhile just recording this episode anyway and getting another one done and dusted. So we've been through the January transfer window. You can see that during it we played Dortmund and Braunschweig. And we narrowly lost to Dortmund, which was a bit disappointing, but you know, they did play better than we did ultimately, and they got a 1-0 win. Again, in the second game against Braunschweig, we played a second 11 side because they're bottom of the table basically, and we squeezed out a 1-0 win. Didn't look very good doing it, but ultimately we got the 3 points, and some of the other periphery players played and some of the more key players were rested, so that was encouraging. Originally I was going to play Leipzig in this particular episode as we came back from the January break. I have actually played that game and we got a disappointing 1-1 draw. Again, we didn't quite play particularly well, but that's because I wanted to come and play this particular match today, the German Third Cup. We don't often get to this part in the cup competition. It's something that we need to improve on, so I thought we'd play this in this particular episode and see whether we can get through another round of the cup competition, and if we could do that, that would be incredible. So that's the plan for today. We've got Borussia Monchengladbach in the cup, and then the next game in the league also is against them, so that's an interesting placement of fixtures, but hopefully we can get a decent win out of both. And then we get the beginning of our double header against PSG. I suspect the next game in our episodes will be the second of the PSG games away from home, and probably up against it at that point, but you know, it's an occasion, so we'll probably play that in the next episode, the second PSG game. But as I say, today is Mönchengladbach. But before we go into that particular match, we've got a little bit of transfer dealings to sort out. So if we go and have a look at what we ended up doing in terms of the transfer, Vertega went out on loan just because he wasn't getting much first team football, and because I've bought a new striker in. And the reason I did that was we got 30 odd million just a couple of weeks before the transfer window started, because our financials were better than expected. And one of the issues that we've got in our side currently is that we've got mainly loan strikers in. We've got Jovic and we've got Rollheiser, both on loan as strikers, and I wanted to put something in place that for next season meant that one of those was taken by a striker that we own. So to do that, Verteva, as a young striker coming through from our youth ranks, he's gone out on loan for the rest of this season. He'll be back in the squad next season with the new striker of Petrella. And so this is the new one that we've bought in. We paid 20 million for him, 10 up front and 10 on payments, which I think is a pretty good deal, really. He's on 45 grand a week, which is perfectly within our wage budget. And the reason I bought him, one, he's 20, and two, the stats that he's got as an all-round complete striker are pretty good. He could do with a bit of pace, but his acceleration isn't bad. He's got good determination, good composure, decent finishing and decent heading. And so, yeah, overall, I think it was a decent buy for what we could find in the market, and he's got the potential as a current 5-star player. We'll see how that develops over time, so that's why we bought him in. He hasn't really done much for us so far, just a couple of opportunities to play as a substitute so far, but it's a good addition to our squad, I think. And whether or not next season he plays as the first or second choice striker depends really on what we can do in terms of the transfer window in the summer, but we'll figure that one at a later date. The only other first team player that we bought in this January, you can see that we've got a couple of other players that came in, but they're all youngsters, was Oliver Batista Meyer, and we bought him in on loan from Bayern Munich, just because we've got 4 wide players, 2 on either side, and I just wanted an extra one that could cover at both positions, just to give us a bit of cover in the last half of the season, just when, you know, some crunch games are happening, and I didn't want to leave us short on the wide areas. Again, he could do with a little bit more pace. His physicals aren't the best, but they're not bad. But mentally, he's got decent determination. He's got decent flair, decent vision. And in terms of his technical attributes, you know, dribbling, crossing, finishing, which means that on either side he can play as the winger type player or as an inside forward, which is great. Passing's pretty good as well. Decent free kick taking and corner taking. So all round, he helps our squad quite a lot. And we've got him on loan until the end of next season, which is great. So a season and a half out of Oliver Batista-Meyer. So that was the main transfer dealings. As I say, we've got a few youngsters in here. We paid a little bit of money for some of them, for likes of, how do we pronounce this? Samoilov? Something like that. He's a left-sided youngster at 15. I think, determination of 19 and flair of 17 and teamwork is in there. First touch is really positive, and he's got some other decent attributes as well. I'm really hopeful that he can come through our youth ranks at some point and make an impact on our first team squad, but that's obviously for another day. You can see that the likes of Hop, we paid 3 million for a decent young goalkeeper. I just needed a few more numbers in our youth ranks. If you see here, we put 5 or so first 15-year-olds into this squad, so you can see that they were low on numbers. But the potential of some of these new players is really high, and that's what I was hoping for, that some of them will hopefully get through to the first team eventually. We had a bit of money, as I say, so it was worth trying to invest a little bit in the future. So that's what we've done in the transfer market. Not a lot of outgoings, a couple of first team incoming players, and a few 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds for our youth side. So that's where we're at. In terms of league position, having played the games that we did through January and very early February, we find ourselves in 5th place, which is okay. We're still attached to the teams above us and obviously the teams below us, so it's all still quite tight. I'm hopeful that a few decent performances over the next few games will help us cement a slightly higher place in the Champions League spots. But that's not for today. For today, it's about the cup competition. It's about Monchengladbach. So let's get into today's game. Oh, no, let's not. Let's go and have a look at the team first. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. We're going to have a look at the team that we're putting up. We're going to play the full-strength squad as much as we can in this particular cup game. Sometimes I rotate for cup competitions, but not today. It's important that we try and get through. The only slight knock that we've got is we've got Horacio that's been coming back from an injury, so we're not playing him. And unfortunately, Siflidis is now out for 2 or 3 weeks with a knock, so he won't be able to play. So other than that, it's pretty much full strength side. So the 2 new signings are both on the bench. So today's game match day team is Kabul in goal, Breyer at right back, DeMarco at left back, Gimber and Kempf because Horacio's coming back from his knock, Gomez is the deep lying playmaker, Bischler as the central midfield support role, Gravenberch on the Metzaler attack role, Gundogdo on the right, Abando on the left, and Jovic up front. He's not been scoring very many goals recently. He's in a bit of a goal drought, and they talk about it a bit in the media. So hopefully this is a perfect opportunity for him to put that to rest and have a good game and get a couple of goals maybe under pressure from a new striker. So Rollheiser misses out today, but that's just the way it is. So yes, now let's get into the game and see what happens. So apparently in the media terms, we are favourites for this particular game. So I've really tried to encourage them to take on that mantle. And because we're favourites, go out there and perform like we deserve to win it. It hasn't done much in terms of motivating, but there we go. That's just one of those things. We're at home in our own stadium, so that helps us, gives us the home advantage. So let's see how we get on. So Monchengladbach are in the white. We're in our purple strip. They kick off and the highlight disappears and nothing much happens in the early moments of the game. So here's a first highlight for them on a free kick, and the free kick comes in, but a decent parry out from the goalkeeper puts it into a bit of a dangerous area, but fortunately the defenders were there and we managed to clear it, and you can see that it was close to going over the line, but not that close in terms of goal line technology type terms. So yeah, unfortunate that they get the first opportunity, but we coped with it quite well, and you can see that the balance of the game is pretty good in terms of the stats. Here we get an opportunity to build up from the back. Gomez picks up the ball quite deep and allows the defenders to move it into midfield, and a decent slow build up. You can see the 3D match engine again that we now play because the laptop that I play is better. Abando comes straight through, has a bit of a weak shot on his right foot, and the goalkeeper gathers it. Again, if you've got a preference in terms of 2D, 3D match engine, sort of what you prefer to watch, let me know in the comments, and we'll certainly have a conversation about it, although I quite like the 3D match engine as much as anybody can. Oh, brilliant strike. So off a decent throw-in on the left-hand side, eventually it works its way round, and we get an opportunity for Gravenberch on the top of the penalty box, and he powers it home. So Abando goes up for the ball, but it goes back out for DiMarco, who cuts it across. Defender half clears it. Gravenberch gets it out from his feet and powers the ball past the goalkeeper. And we've taken a decent lead at the 23rd minute mark, which is really encouraging. A couple of yellow cards for them, which is positive for us. It means that we can continue to attack, and they've got to be a bit careful. Breyer with the long throw. Gundogdu challenges, but again it's cleared back out to Breyer. Can we have a repeat of the last throw in and get an opportunity? We've taken our time on it, and it's now found its way out into the left hand side. Abando takes over from DiMarco. DiMarco again swept out to him, crosses deep, and Gundogdu, good hand from the goalkeeper, and pokes it out, and eventually they clear it, but only to our defensive line, who bangs it back up towards their goal. But that's the end of the highlight. Again, a decent movement. We started on the right and moved it right the way across to the left, and eventually got a good cross in, and look as though that we're playing okay. A corner half cleared again from our point of view, and Hazard picks up the ball and puts it over the top of the bar, which, disappointing that we can't clear properly and maintain possession when we do, but at least we're getting bodies there. Breyer with the throw in. Gundogdu again challenges but loses out. It comes back to Gomez, who takes his time to check out the lay of the land, and eventually it comes back out to Breyer on the right hand side. Deep cross to Abando, but again the goalkeeper manages to get something on the ball, and they clear it out for a throw in to us. No, it wasn't a throw in to us, it was a corner kick to us, and Gravenberch has the corner kick, and it's nearly to Bischler. You could see that he was aiming for Bischler. Bischler swung at it, but the defender got in the way, and that was the end of that particular highlight. Again though, decent opportunity. We're putting some pressure on them and creating some decent chances, so that's really encouraging. I would suggest now the stats of the match suggest that we're in control as well. More possession, more shots on goal, more shots on target, etc. I think we're doing quite well in the lead up to half time, and that's where we get to. Half time, 1-0 up. It's encouraging. We've got to make sure that they're not going to lose focus though, so assertively we're going to say, things are going well, but I know you're capable of even more, just to keep them on their toes a little bit. Go back into the second half and see how we get on, and hopefully we can maintain good discipline on the ball and keep possession well and try and frustrate them a little bit and come away with a victory, but still plenty of the match to play. So that was an opportunity for Abando there, but he ran into a bit of a brick wall of 3 defenders, I think it was, and they came away with it. Hazard on their left hand side attacks on our right hand side now. Long shot from, I don't know who that was, Lasco, Lasco, and it didn't trouble the goalkeeper at all. It was quite cheeky really to go from there, but there we are. Breyer with the opportunity on a throw-in, and eventually the cross comes from Gundogdu to Abando on the far post, and he pokes the ball home. It was lovely. That's what I really like about our throw-ins. They find their man on the wide areas quite well, and the decent crosses come in, and Abando pokes the ball home. Nicely placed goal, and that was very encouraging again. It's all going remarkably well. I think we're doing very well. I'm quite relaxed about this particular match now, really. Abando there goes through, and they've seemed to have given a free kick away, which means that a yellow card, no, it's a red card comes out, and that makes Monchengladbach's day even worse, doesn't it, really? So we're going to make a substitution there. We've got plenty of opportunities now to relax and enjoy the rest of the game, I think. So Jovic again hasn't been able to get rid of his goal drought, so we're going to bring the new guy Petrella on and see if he can make an impact on the side. We haven't got many issues physically, although Bischler, having not played much recently, is a little bit low in his condition, so I'm going to take him off. We're going to move Saiki on and switch him and Gomez. So Gomez will play slightly further up. He's got more passing attributes, etc., to be able to play that role, and Saiki is better in the deep lying role. So that's what we'll do. And I've got one more I can make, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change Gravenberch, who's had a great game, 8.3, but he's important to the side. We're going to take him off and bring Mount on and allow him to play for the last part of the game. 20 minutes or so to go, plus a few minutes of injury time, no doubt, and we'll see whether we can hold on to what we've got now that we've got the 2-0 advantage and the one-man advantage as well. And we're moving the ball nicely. Gravenberch finds DeMarco wide left, completely unmarked. Could have put a slightly better cross in than that, but still, even so, we maintain possession and have another opportunity. And you see the space that we're now working in up until this sort of area, where they're obviously going to be defensively harder to break down, but plenty of the ball. There's an opportunity for Jovic just before he comes off, and it didn't quite work for him, but a decent opportunity nonetheless, and it was close. But yes, you can see in our defensive and defensive midfield positions, we've got plenty of time on the ball now, which is really encouraging. So we can take our time and build up our attacks. So the substitutions have been made. We'll see whether they can make an impact at all in the last few minutes of the game. But it just, again, it gives more players an opportunity to experience cup football and hopefully help us win the game. Good free kick comes in for them, and they hit the woodwork, I think, but we eventually get it cleared. Not really happy that we're not clearing those outright and just dominating that area, but there we are. Opportunity for us, and what happened there? There's a free kick given. I think Abando did something that was the ref didn't like, but that's the end of the game. It kind of caught me by surprise, the end of it. I was kind of in on the game a bit and quite sort of focused on what was going on, and it caught me a bit off guard at the end. But a 2-0 win, comfortable really. Even before they had a player sent off, I thought we were playing quite well and dominating the game. So passionately, I'll say I'm very happy with that result, and that gets everybody extremely happy as well, which is really positive. So we can come out of there and just, there's nothing to see in terms of change of the league, obviously, because that was a cup game, but it gets us through the cup competition. We received some money. Gravenberch was on form and played well, got his goal. And all's good with the world, really. We'll check out what happens in terms of our next opponent in the cup, and the next time that we come to do another episode, which will be the second PSG game, I'll let you know who we've got in the next round of the cup. But we're through to the fourth round of the cup competition, which doesn't happen very often for us. As I say, we've struggled a little bit in the cup so far in this particular save, so anything further we can do, I think, is going to be a real bonus. But you can see here the quarterfinal, round 4 doesn't happen until early April, so I'm sure we'll probably come and play that, having played the PSG game in the next episode, the second PSG game. So yeah, I hope you're looking forward to that. I hope we're not too far behind by the time the first game comes and goes, but we'll see. It's going to be obviously a really tough task for us to get through. Nonetheless, we're in it, so we're going to give it a good go, and we might as well go down having a try rather than just trying to make it as hard for them as we can. So join me next time for the next episode of the United City Randomiser and see how we get on against PSG. Until then, though, if you're enjoying the series, chuck a subscribe on the channel. That helps to keep up to date with the videos. If you enjoyed this particular episode, why not click a like on it, and that helps me get seen by other people, which is great. Until the next episode, though, if you're playing Football Manager yourself, let me know how you get on with yours in the comments below. It's always interesting to hear other people's stories. But until next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Thanks very much for watching this episode of the United City Randomiser save. If you enjoyed the video, then why not click on the like button, as that would really help me. If you think you know anyone who would really enjoy my Football Manager content, then feel free to share this with them. But most importantly, if you would like to join my United City here on YouTube, then hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my video releases. If you have anything you want to say about the United City save or the channel itself, then feel free to leave a comment below, but please try and be nice with each other. That'll do for today, so until next time, stay happy and healthy, and I will see you soon.